Yo, welcome back to Big Time Fantasy Football. Zach and Nick got another video for you today. I'm gonna let Nick tell you what we're doing actually. Go ahead, tell him, Nick.
So we are getting into the rest of our free agent reactions today. It's pretty much going to be all running backs. There's so many of them. We got 11 of them, 11 of them on deck today. So without further ado, let's get into it. First guy, we have DeAndre Swift going to Chicago. It was a 3-year deal for $24.5 million, about $15 million guaranteed. Chicago kicked it off. I was really not expecting DeAndre Swift to get this type of money from any team, let alone Chicago. I know they had the money to overpay for a running back, but if you're going to do that, why not get one of the top guys? But hey, they like Swift. He comes back to the NFC North. It kind of feels like everyone in the NFC North is just dancing around. He was on the Lions, stopped off at the Eagles, back to the North. There's a couple other guys on our list here that merged on different NFC North teams. So, what are your thoughts on DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, so Swift, a guy I'm not really too high on anymore. I just realized though he is still 25 years old, I believe, so he is still young. Still could improve. But like you said, I didn't think he was going to get that kind of money. And I just said a couple videos ago that I think he's better suited as kind of a complimentary back at this point. But I mean, they gave him starter money, so still exciting. They're going to have the number one pick, so maybe their offense can take off, and maybe he has another little breakout. So could be something, but not something that I thought was too mind blowing or crazy or anything like that. So
Yeah, I will
yeah,
say I do feel bad for Roshan Johnson. He was a rookie this past year. I thought he just didn't get enough run in that offense. He looked good or decent when he was out there behind a somewhat improved Chicago offensive line, but they're really not where they need to be. I think they take another step forward this year as well.
yeah, he was a guy I just traded away, Roshan Johnson. So it does make me actually feel a little bit better about you know getting letting him cut. So. Cool. Next, we got Tony Pollard going to the Titans. Guess the Cowboys didn't want to offer him the money that he wanted, and they didn't want to offer any single person any money to come to the team. So that's kind of lame. But for Pollard, I'll get off my little tangent right now. But for Pollard, his personal value, it brings him down. I mean, there's no way around it. He goes from good offensive line, not what it once was, but still, upper echelon offensive line and a great offense, to a huge step back in both of those regards. So he still is going to be a starting running back, but I think he goes from low end RB1 to mid end RB2. Honestly, I think it's kind of where the drop goes. And for Spears, he's the guy that I said to sell in one of my sell videos. This is exactly why I knew they were going to get somebody. I didn't expect Pollard per se, but knew they were going to get somebody. So Spears also takes a hit in value. So kind of down for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say, Tajay Spears, I heard so many people were very high on him this offseason. Um, had his value way up there. I did not see this coming either. This is another. There's a few moves this offseason in free agency period that I just didn't see coming. This is another one. Both of their values just kind of dropped. They both had low end, or I guess high end RB2 to mid end RB2 for Tajay Spears value before this free agency period, but once Pollard signed there, I mean, it brings them both down to back end RB2 at best. And I'm not writing Tajay Spears completely off. I just think he definitely needs a value adjustment. And both of these guys are efficiency guys. They'll make big plays at some points. Doesn't really help that they're on a pretty bad Tennessee Titans team, but um, yeah, I guess we'll see going forward what that split's going to look like, and if Will Levis takes a step forward, bringing this offense a little bit better.
Yeah, biggest thing for them, for me, is their offensive line is just the worst, I think, in the NFL last year. And I haven't seen them make any moves. I didn't pay too close attention to too many offensive line moves, but I didn't see them do anything with it. So I don't know how much better that's going to get. So But anyways, got a next one. We got a really big move. One of the bigger moves is we got Saquon going to the Eagles. It was tough for me being a Cowboys fan, and Saquon is one of my favorite players as well. So it kind of double hurt my heart a little bit for him to go there. But I mean, for him, I mean, it's great. Like he's gonna have some goal line touches stolen from Jalen Hurts, but he's gonna be down there in the red zone a lot more. So there's gonna be a lot more chances for him than compared to what he was with the Giants. Better offense, just better scheme for him. I think he'll have a really big season if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I think that's well said. Feel like the Eagles recently they've been not really paying up at running back. They tried it for a few years, hasn't worked too well, I guess. That offense as a whole kind of looked like it was taking a step back towards the back half of the year. So maybe this is just something to switch it up a little bit, get a good bell cow in there who can make plays, keep that offense moving. I think he will get more goal line carries than when he was with the Giants, but Jalen Hurts is still there. Tush push is definitely still a thing this year. So I think that caps his ceiling a little bit. I think it's kind of going to be like a mini Christian McCaffrey situation when he went to the Niners, where there's just so many offensive weapons. The running back's always going to be involved, Saquon Barkley, but the receivers are going to take a hit, and it'll be like, which one's going to be catching the ball now this week? Is it going to be A.J. Brown? Is it going to be Devontae Smith? Is it going to be Dallas Goedert? So we shall see how the offense meshes together, but I do think no matter what, Saquon's going to get his. Definitely a superstar player. Hopefully he can stay healthy. I like him running behind that Eagles offensive line.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And gonna be tough. Still gonna be rooting for him, just not necessarily the Eagles. But yeah. And then another big one. There's just so much heat with the running backs this year. It was crazy. But we got Josh Jacobs going to the Packers. I think it's a great fit for him. I mean, I think it's great for his value personally. Just the offense overall, the Packers look better than the Raiders last year. There's no really ifs, ands, or buts about that. And yeah, like I said, the offense, he's just going to a better offense, which is going to give him a better chance. He seems like one of those guys that's older, still a younger running back. He does have a lot of miles on his legs, but he still looks good. He hasn't had too many major injury problems, I should say. So yeah, I think that'll elevate him and the Packers together.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love the fit, but at first, when it first happened, I was way thrown off, and I was wondering what's going to happen. I thought both him and Aaron Jones were going to be like a complementary type backs and just try to play off each other. And I know Josh Jacobs has always been like a bell cow. Get him as many carries as you can because he's that good. But shortly after that, Aaron Jones got cut. The move made a little more sense. And I love him in that Jordan Love-led offense. I think the Packers are going to be real scary this year. Them and the Lions. That whole NFC North is just a super tough division all around. So that will lead us into this next guy, Aaron Jones, to the Minnesota Vikings, still in that division. I like the Vikings picking up another guy here. Alexander Madison, they obviously cut. Ty Chandler showed flashes, but I really don't think he's that guy. He's just a little too undersized for me. And Aaron Jones is a playmaker. We'll see what quarterback they get in there, but even with like a young guy that you can develop, you're going to want a pass catcher out of the backfield and someone that can do it in the ground game. And Aaron Jones is just that. Hopefully he can stay healthy and they can feed him as many times as they need to, get him going in the pass game. And I think that'll take a lot of pressure off the quarterback spot. What are your thoughts on Aaron Jones?
Yeah, honestly, what I wrote for him in my notes is TBD. Kind of what you said. Just we'll see on the quarterback situation. Is it Darnold? Are they going to find a rookie? Are they, what are they going to do? Really, is kind of the thing. I think that kind of heavily ties into his value. Still, obviously, a starting running back. He is having more and more injury issues as the years go on. So we'll kind of see how that plays a factor into next year. But I think he kind of just went there to as a little
Out of
revenge for
spite
the Packers for letting him go, basically, because they wanted him to take I guess it would have been his third pay cut, and he said he's not doing that, so
to
they let
bring
him
in
go.
another bell cow back. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, still TBD on that one, basically. So I'll let you get on the next guy too.
Yep. Next, we have Devin Singletary taking over in New York for the Giants in replacement of Saquon Barkley. He actually got a 3-year deal, pretty cheap at only $16.5 million. But they definitely need to get another body there. I could see them even getting another complimentary piece. Singletary showed that he still has some juice last year, and in Houston, but I just don't think he can be the only guy for them. That offense, in my opinion, is just going to be really bad this year. They're going to try and get some young players. We'll see how Danny Dimes does, but I think it's another rebuilding year, maybe even one more after that. They're in a tough division, too, with the Cowboys, with the Eagles. I mean, even the Commanders are looking like they're getting a little bit of a head start on the Giants in their rebuild, so we shall see, but I don't think I'm going to touch too many Giants in fantasy this year. Maybe for Dynasty, I'll get some young players, but I don't think Singletary is going to be one of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Singletary, Giants. I mean, Singletary didn't do much last year, and I would say he's in a worse situation now. So not a guy I'm looking to touch at all in redraft or dynasty. So I'm leaving. I'm out on Singletary. That's just where I'm at. But next guy, we got Gus Edwards going to the Chargers. And to me, I just thought this was funny because they let Austin Eckler go, and Eckler was kind of the guy that started the like running backs need to be paid, and the Chargers were like, no, they don't. So it just kind of feels to me like they're trying to prove like they don't need a real RB1. Gus Edwards not a terrible back, but I mean you've heard some of his names in this class that we already have and that we're gonna have, and they just decided to go with Gus Edwards. It's funny to me. That's all I got.
Yeah, and I mean, I know he's coming from Jim Harbaugh is now the coach of the Chargers. Gus Edwards is coming from a John Harbaugh system. Um, Another little comical thing there, but this move kind of shocked me. I really thought they were going to get some guy, like someone that can be an RB1 that can stand alone, but I think this points to more towards the draft this year. And even though there isn't too many amazing running back prospects, I know there is a prospect from Michigan, Jim Harbaugh's former team, Blake Corum. I think he's going to fall right in their laps. Or if not, I think there's good enough prospects to where they can fill in that role with Gus Edwards. But yeah, I mean, definitely not what I was expecting at all for them to do.
Yeah, no, Corum going there would be pretty fun. Actually, I never didn't think of that, but that would be pretty fun for them. But yeah, weird situation there. And then we got the guy that left the Chargers. We got Eckler going over to Washington. He's a good fit. I think they like his archetype, his type of player of what he can do. That's just the type of running back that they like to get. He's the best one that they've had of that archetype for sure. So I think it's a good fit. Obviously, the offense, you don't expect as much explosiveness as you would the high end of what the Chargers can provide. So I think it is probably a slight step back for him. And he's another year older, with a guy that's been injured before. But I do like the fit, so I don't think it's a huge step back, but I do think it is a slight downgrade for him.
Yeah, I agree. And I know Antonio Gibson left this year. I think he signed with the Patriots, so he'll be with Ramondre Stevenson. But Eckler is with Brian Robinson. I think Eckler kind of goes towards more of the third down role, maybe split goal line carries with Brian Robinson. I know Brian Robinson can do pretty much all the same things. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Probably going to have a rookie quarterback in there. So I don't see that offense being too great, but maybe in a couple years it'll progress. He has a 2-year deal, so maybe by next year the offense will progress and he can prove his worth maybe get another contract going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I will get into the next guy.
Yeah.
Zach Moss signing with the Bengals on a 2-year, $8 million deal. He played really well in the absence of JT this year, Jonathan Taylor. Um, he showed that he definitely has the juice and he can be that guy, or at least that 1A in the running back room somewhere. And I really like the fit with the Bengals. I believe it's just him and Chase Brown. I don't think it's going to be super timeshare-y, but I think he'll definitely get most of the first down, second down, maybe even some third down work. And I like Zach Moss on what can be an explosive Bengals offense this year.
Yeah, yeah, I think they'll get Chase Brown involved, but I do think it'll be like 75-25, maybe up to 80-20, kind of somewhere in that range. Like you said, he did look really good last year with Jonathan Taylor out. He's kind of one of the bigger surprises of last season, I would say. I mean, there are always the talent there, but he never really had his breakout games, but he played great last season. With them, they do still have some O-line issues that they need to address, so it's not going to be just perfect for him. But I do think it's a great opportunity for him to go to a very good offense and be the full-time lead back. I think he'll be one of those players that's probably better than his ADP, almost, I would say. So, yeah, for sure. And then next we got Mixon going to the Texans. Mixon leaving that Bengals team. It's kind of funny that we always have one guy leaving
Just
the
worked
team.
out like that.
Yeah, but so yeah, he's going to the Texans. Last year they were 22nd in rushing, so he's not going to the best situation. But was that the offense or was that Singletary? Who's to say, really? But yeah, I think this is one of those moves that's better for the team, than it is Mixon himself. But still, he's going to be the lead back there. It is a good offense. The ball is going to be moving. So if he is the missing piece, then that offense is going to look really scary.
Yeah, I agree. I already think it's going to look scary, and this move just kind of takes that a step forward. Devin Singletary and who is it? Damian Pierce. They're both running backs that don't really catch too many passes. I guess Singletary has some of that, but not as much as Joe Mixon. He can definitely make it work in the pass game too. So probably more dump offs than last year, more production overall from the running back room. I think this is a really good fit. I was really hoping they'd get a superstar here, just to really make that team extra scary. But I don't mind this move. Go cheap. They know they're gonna have to pay C.J. Stroud in a couple years. Those receivers are gonna get older, so I don't hate that.
Yeah, and they got him for a 7th-round pick. They were going to release him anyways, but just to ensure that he came to their team, that was a really smart move on their end before letting him get released. I think so. So, got one last guy here. Maybe the biggest move. It's definitely outside of Saquon's biggest move, but maybe the biggest move overall. It's Derrick Henry going over to the Baltimore Ravens. Love the move. I mean, kind of picture perfect fit. I think out of anybody, he got the most improvement from a situation, going from a bad Titans offensive line and offense overall to a much improved on better of those things with the Ravens. My favorite thing about it personally is just the read options. A big back like Henry, you want multiple bodies on him. You want to stuff the box. You want to get on him fast. But if you have to worry about Lamar, going out, then that's going to make people hesitate. And then Derrick Henry has that strength and breakaway speed to, if you're one-on-one, then he's probably going over you. So I just think it's a great situation for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw what Gus Edwards did this year. Obviously, Derrick Henry's a much bigger, more physical back around the goal line. But we saw Gus Edwards have multiple games with 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. Like, having Derrick Henry in the offense just elevates it so much more. And like you said, Lamar takes pressure off of them around the goal line, so they can't stack those boxes like they have been in Tennessee. Yeah, this offense could be really scary. It could be. And that defense is still solid. I know they lost Patrick Queen. They lost a couple defensive pieces, but overall, the Ravens are going to be a contender for sure again, and we'll see if Lamar can do it. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I got for that.
Yeah, one last thing I was going to throw out about Henry is that he is older now. He's over that, the hump that you want to see. He's past 29, he's 30 now. But I think Ravens do a good job of getting multiple backs involved. So I don't think you'll see Derrick Henry getting 90% or even 80% of the touches. But I think his efficiency will go up just because of that offense. So I think he'll get less touches, but still have a lot of scoring opportunities and be able to put up big games still.
Yeah. And I did remember they have Keaton Mitchell there as well, a great young talent. I think him learning under Derrick Henry and he got a 2-year deal, so even next year when Keaton Mitchell comes back from injury, that would be an amazing Thunder and Lightning. Kind of like what you were talking about in a previous video with the Dolphins and Devon Achane. I think Keaton Mitchell brings a similar skill set, and those two with Lamar Jackson, man, that offense will be good and humming.
Yeah, no, I'm even more pumped for the season after all these moves. There's still a couple pieces to fall, not really with running backs, which sucks because the Cowboys need one. But like I said, I'm gonna calm down, not get too riled up on that. But yeah, no, I'm pumped for the season. These both moves for running backs and non-running backs have just been so fun to sit here and watch. So draft's coming up too, so we still even got more enjoyment to go. But that's about all we got, guys, for today. It's been big time fantasy football as always. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe. As always, we're a newer channel, so anything helps. We do appreciate all the views, even on their own, but anything goes a long way to helping. So thanks for tuning in again, and you all have a great day.